Hi guys, just wanted to pull over to do the final review for the PIDP 3320 course, and I wanted to walk into basically the square by the art gallery, so that I wasn't walking down the street with the camera. Kind of, you don't want to cause traffic to stop when you're doing your update. But at the same time, it's nice to get outside and do a little bit of the update here in downtown Vancouver, right outside of the art gallery. So the PIDP program, this is a course for instructors, and the 3320 course is basically, we're facilitating learning online. So what we're doing is we're setting up presentations where we have different people come and for the presentation. And we did that presentation yesterday. There were a number of guests that stopped in, and we had some discussion about AI for educators. And it was a really lively session. And that was my first fundamentals for online learning session that I hosted. So this exercise, this assignment, we're supposed to kind of follow up on it and let us know some of the things that we did right and some of the things that we could have improved on for the coursework. So there are a couple of things that I think that I did pretty well, given that it was my first time doing the organization and setting up the setup. So one of the first things was, when you're doing instruction, you really have to be an expert in your subject matter. So subject matter is key. If you can get the subject matter, you're going to be able to answer some of the questions that come your way, and hopefully also give some insights, some intelligent insights to your audience, have intelligent things to say, and you're going to be able to say it so much more confidently. So it's really important to master the subject matter expertise for your particular coursework. So I think I did really well with the subject matter expertise part of the program. We're going to talk about the parts that I didn't do so well in a moment, but got that subject matter expertise part. So the other part that we got well was we managed to keep a positive and uplifting tone throughout the entire presentation, ensuring that our audience and participants were willing to jump in and step up and definitely had an exciting tone. And that's really productive. You want to keep people excited. You want to keep people entertained. You don't want your presentation to be boring. Boring presentation. So if your presentation is even just a little bit interesting, a little bit exciting, you can get some laughter out of people, you get the vibe going, you're going to do a lot better in making your connections with people. So that's another thing I think I did pretty well on the presentation. So there's a couple of areas where I could have improved. And you probably noticed this if you watch the presentation. You'll see that after I had asked some questions of the participants, you really have to focus in on the participants and make sure that you get what they're saying. If you don't understand what they're saying, go in there, ask them to repeat what they said. Make sure you understand what it is they said, because if you're like me and you start thinking about, what's going on with that camera, what's going on with this mouse, like how much time do I have left in the presentation, your mind starts to wander, then you might come out with an answer that's just not really as excellent of an answer as you could have come up with. So that's something that probably you may have noticed if you looked at the answers. You may have noticed the questions and the answers. They were good, but there was some room for improvement there. So that's one of the things that I could have done better. The other thing I could have done better is that, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been doing speech therapy and voice development and public speaking training, and I've improved an incredible amount in my communication skills. But at the same time, there's some magical essence that you can hit. Once you start hitting those really nice melodies, you're talking like Simon Sinek, you've got, David Attenborough tones, people are going to be captivated and they're going to want to listen to you over for hours. They'll just listen and listen and listen. And if you don't have those tones, you better make sure your content is really good. You got to be dropping gems the whole time. If you're not dropping gems, you want to get your camera on the participants. You want to share the screen, and you want to ensure that people get to look at themselves when you're doing the presentation. I don't mean that in a narcissistic way, but I just mean, it's you can't bore your audience. If you bore your audience, they're not going to come back. So you've got to make sure that either you're dropping gems or you're interacting and you're collaborating. You want to have an interactive and collaborative discussion. So those are a couple things that I would point out that I'm going to change for the next time that I do the presentation. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the results. We knocked maybe 6, maybe 7 out of 10 out of the park. It was a pretty good presentation. And that is my follow-up. So thanks so much for watching, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys next time.